we are going to go ahead and talk about what are the 5 like mistakes or pitfalls that I want you guys to avoid, right? In 2023, I do have my notes here. So I definitely want to go ahead and just kind of deep dive into it. I know it's early in the morning for everybody, but I want to go ahead and give you guys some heads up. I know you guys have been seeing just what the workforce could look like in this upcoming year. And I definitely want you guys to stay prepared. I don't want you guys to fear, right? But I want you guys to stay prepared and always make sure that you are setting yourself up for success. I'm going to go ahead and dive right in. For all of you who don't know, I usually do go live every Tuesday at 7:15 Central Standard Time. If you do want to have the actual excuse me, I'm sorry guys. This is going to be saved on my channel on YouTube. So if you can stay the whole time, you will be able to have this seen again on my stream. Also, guys, if you have any questions, make sure that you do drop those and I will get to as many as I can. All right. So let's go ahead and talk about what is the first pitfall or the first mistake that I want you guys to avoid in 2023. Okay. The first one is going into next year without having a plan, right? Not having a clear direction of what next year is going to look like for you. And again, I don't want you guys to think that you got to have some big, long, plan per week. But I do want you to have a little bit of a focus to see like what is next year going to look like for you, right? If you've had some goals in mind, like is next year going to be the year that you actually like move on those goals? Because I know what tends to happen for a lot of people is that they just kind of tend to just kind of go to work day by day and they don't really think about, hey, where is my career going? And so I want you guys to start to think about that. What is next year going to look like for me? And so if you guys have already started to really kind of put some thought into what this next year could mean for you, if you have already started to kind of put some actual goals in mind and starting to really look towards next year and seeing what are the expectations. If you have not, that's fine. I just hope that this live stream just kind of sparks some stuff on the inside. So you can just start to put some thought into that, because what happens with a lot of people, right, is that, you just go to work every single day and you're working and all you do is you focus on the workload that is on your desk, but you don't really think about what is it that you want, right? And so I want you guys to start thinking about, hey, this year is going to be my year. This is the year that all of the things that I have just had a strong desire for, and I don't care if you want to make more. I don't care if you had certain roles in your mind that you have eyed for a while. I want next year to be the year for you where you get past that fear, that doubt, all of that, and start to put forth the steps that it's going to take to move towards that goal, right? Because I know that for a lot of you guys, it was some things this year, right? I'm pretty sure a lot of us had the same talk with ourselves last year. Hey, this year I want to do this year. And you had all these plans, but things got into the way. And so I want 2023 for you to be a year where you really put you first, and I know that's a lot easier said than done, guys. I get it. I'm a wife, I'm a mom, and we have all of these other obligations sometimes in life. But I want you to take the time, right, that you need to take to put yourself first. Because, when you're talking about wanting to advance in your job or the actual role that you're in right now, guys, this stuff does not happen by chance, right? It's not like all of a sudden you just, bam, I love my job, right? But it actually takes steps, and it takes you being clear on what it is that you want. And so even if you are in, hey, Sean, even if you are in a place right now and you maybe don't know what you want, right? I want you to start to think about, what is it that I don't want? Like, what has happened this year that I'm like, you know what, this thing just does not serve me at all, right? So I want you to start to think about, if you don't know what it is, the things that you want, start to think about what are the things that you know that you don't want, right? If you do want to spend more time at home, if you're like, Alicia, I have been having a desire to work from home for years. Okay, well, let's start to put in 2023, right, as the time to make that actually happen. And so it's kind of like what I was saying before. When you're wanting to advance in your career, it doesn't happen by chance, right? And so I want you guys to start to think about what are some ways that I can be proactive, right, in starting to get the things that I want. And because y'all, I really, let me say this, I'm not against the whole New Year's thing or whatever, because I really feel like you have the power to change any day of the year. But hey, since we are here, let's take this time to really think about what it is that we really want, right? And so the first mistake was not having a clear plan. Then the next mistake is not keeping your skills up to date. Y'all, 2023 is going to be one of the most competitive years in the whole job space, right? So if you are one that has just been very, very relaxed, as far as your skills, as far as your whole development, you will be left behind. And so I want you to really, really get clear on where are the gaps, right? Where are those skill gaps? Where is it in my skill set that I maybe need to learn more, right? Or start to really take and see in your current skills that you have right now, like what are those high end demand skills? Because I know with next year being so uncertain with everything, right? I don't want you guys to fear, but I just want you guys to be in a space where you're able to still be successful. But the only way that happens is if you guys start to actually think about it. Because a lot of times we don't want to think about stuff. We're like, oh, because we feel like if I think about this thing, I'm going to get discouraged. Then you feel like I'm all of a sudden going to be overwhelmed. Don't think like that. You have to start to actually think about what is it that I need to do to make sure for next year, right, that I can have a good year, right? If you know that you want to make more, right, what is it that I need? Those skills that I need in the current role that I am in right now, will this current role even allow me to grow the way that I know that I need to grow? A lot of you guys, it's not that you don't have enough experience, it's just that the job that you have right now is holding you back, right? So now is the time to really sit down and think about, okay, is the job that I am in now, is it actually serving me? But on the flip side, start to even think about the job you have now, right? Have I been able to really take advantage of all of the opportunities that I have here now? Because I am a big believer. You need to milk your job for everything, right? Everything. Get everything that you can out of that job, because a lot of times I see that people are so in a rush to find another job, but you haven't even seized all of the opportunities in the job that you have right now, right? So I want you guys to start to really think about where is it that I am now, and is this current job serving that, right? Because you can't find yourself in a place to where year after year after year goes on and you're still not where you need to be, right? And you guys know that I am huge on you guys being able to just don't judge everything else, right? Sit down and really judge yourself and start thinking, have I done the things that I need to do to make sure that I can have the success that I want? Yes, bloom where you are planted, right? Yes, seize the opportunities where you are now. But if those opportunities are not there, or if you know, Alicia, I'm not trying to plant myself here. I know it's time to go. Cool, right? But at the same time, it's going to be really, really important for you guys to really start to just think about what is it that I want in my life, right? And is where I am now, is that going to get me there, right? Because I'm not about a dream job. I'm about you having a dream life. And I want you to start to think about, does your current job support the life that you want? right? And if that's not the case, start to sit down and think about what should be my next step, because you can get very discouraged when you see the goal and you see where you are now, right? You're like, oh, it's just too much, because you see all this space, all this gap is here, right? But it's like, don't think about the end goal just yet. What I want you to think about is just, what is the next step? What is the next step that I can take to move away from what I don't want and to move a little bit more towards what I do want, right? That's it. Think about what that next step could be for you, all right? And again, so not keeping up with your skills, not keeping up with your development. I am huge on development, right? I like the core of how I coach my clients. Yes, I help folks in their jobs, right? But the core of what I do is based on self development, because it doesn't matter how great your experience is, right? You can only go as far as you grow. I'll say that again. You can only go as far as you grow, not just in your skill set, right? But you overall. And so a lot of you may feel like, Alicia, I feel like I've hit this block. Like, I feel like I can't get past this hump. And so it's not that you necessarily need, to learn new skills. It could just be some things in you that needs to actually grow. And so this is the time to sit back and see, okay, how is it that I am showing up at work, right? Do I let things at work overshadow my expertise, right? Do you let your attitude overshadow your expertise? Do you allow the experiences that you face at work to overshadow your expertise? And if you are wanting to move up, right? If you if you have a desire to land those more top roles, those more lead roles, hey, am I showing up now, being the person that I need to actually be now to land the roles that I want? Because this is the thing, guys, a job title is not going to change you. It's not. It doesn't matter. A job title, salary amount, if you don't deal with those little, I don't want to say, I would say flaws, right? Because again, we all have them. If you don't deal with those flaws now, you will hit a wall, right? Because again, you can only go as far as you grow. And so I want you to sit down this week and really think about, hey, what are some ways that I can change how I show up at work, right? If you know that you need to be speaking up more, right? Why is it that I feel like I cannot say something at work, right? Or if you feel like all you do is just go to work and shut down and don't say nothing, start thinking about, what are ways that I can start showing up and being the person that I know that I need to actually be. Okay. So the mistake uh 3 that I want you guys to avoid is not building relationships. Right? I want you guys to go into 2023, if you already have not, going in with the mindset to build relationships. And that is going to be key, because I tell people that your network is your net worth, right? It's really important. What did I say that right? Your net worth. Yeah. Your net worth is your network. It's really important because, I want you guys to get out of this mindset that I don't need anybody, right? Or on the flip side, this mindset of, I don't have anything to give to anybody. I don't have anything of value, because a lot of people are scared of networking because they like, I don't know what to say. But I want you guys to really move away from that mindset, especially for next year, especially if you are wanting to, again, set yourself up for success. You're going to have to be comfortable building relationships. And a lot of people wouldn't have to work so hard in their job search. A lot of people wouldn't have to work so hard to find new opportunities if they would just get comfortable talking to people, right? Start to build those relationships. I am a prime example. Having relationships, even in my business, has been able to grow it so fast, right? Because again, when you start to build relationships with the right people, right? That allows you to learn about opportunities that you didn't even know about. So I want you guys to really get rid of that fear of having to talk to people and really start to build that. And on the flip side, same one, get rid of those relationships that are not serving you, right? If you know that you are ready to advance in your career or just advance in life, if you know that you just want to do something different, you cannot be so close with people that have a opposite of you, right? It is possible to be able to grow when everybody around you is going in the wrong way. So I want you to start thinking about, hey, who are the people around me that is just maybe not on the same path I am right now? It doesn't mean that, you know, that you have to be like, bah, right? But I want you to start thinking about, where do you need to shift a lot of your time, and who are the people that you need to start hanging around and start to build relationships with, and who are the people that you probably just need to have on hold as of right now. Okay, so let's go to mistake number 4. Okay, I want you guys to manage your work-life balance. Huge. In 2023, I want you guys to manage your work-life balance. Your career is not everything, right? And I think it's really, I don't want you guys to always be in the mode of grind, right? And I don't want you to be in a mode of always having to sacrifice you, right, for work, because that's going to leave you empty, and that is going to leave you dry. And so what I want you guys to start thinking about is, hey, what are more ways that I'm able, again, to have a career that is going to support the life I want, right? I'm a really huge fan of that, because for one, you spend a lot of time at work, right? And it doesn't matter if you work at home or not. You spend a lot of time at work, right? So when you are not at work, what does that look like, right? Have you started to um because you can find yourself in a mode to where you're always serving, giving, right? And you look back and you like, man, when was the last time I did something for me, right? And again, I am talking about self-care, but I'm talking about it more on a deeper mode, right? Because I don't want you guys to think, oh yeah, get your nails done, take a bubble bath. I mean, that's cool too, right? But when I talk about self-care, I'm not talking about you doing one thing. I'm talking about self-care being a way of life for you, taking care of yourself, whatever that needs to be. Because I've said it plenty of times, you cannot self-care your way out of a bad job. You cannot. It doesn't matter how many bubble baths you take, love. If your job is draining you and sucking everything from you, you will always feel the way that you do. So I want you to start to really think about, what is a way that I can put myself first for this next year? Because with all of the clients I've seen, even the friends that I know, the ones that are the most successful in their career are the ones that take time for themselves, are the ones that is not so focused just on work, right? Because what you don't want to happen is that you've put all of this energy into work and it gives you nothing back, especially if you are like working yourself blind, right? And you are in an environment where you know that you are not being paid the money that you should be being paid, right? You are in an environment that does not help you with your skill set. It does nothing for you. So you are constantly in this mode of serving. But I believe that you are to serve, but I believe that your career should be serving you back. And if it's not, something's wrong. And so I want you guys to start to think about, okay, what are ways that I can show up at work the way that I know that I need to, but also what are the ways that I can show up for me more? Because it's just not about you being a better corporate girl, right? But it's about you being able to just be better. And so 2023 should not just be another year of grind, but it needs to be a year of, I need to be the best me. Okay. So far we have talked about, and guys, remember, with no work-life balance, you look back and say should have, could have, would have. Exactly. And especially, if you ever find yourself, being fired, being laid off, right? Those are the moments when you sit back and you reflect and you say, I have given them everything, right? Everything, which is a mistake in the first place. But you say, I have devoted so much. And you, at that moment, you realize just how disposable you are. And guess what, guys? That is just the world of work, right? I know that people will say, do whatever you can to make sure that they find you valuable. And I have mixed feelings about that. But everybody is replaceable. Everybody is replaceable. Everybody. Right. And so if you get into this mindset of feeling like if I do more and more and more, they will see me more valuable, friend, you are lying to yourself. Because at the end of the day, that company is going to do what they need to do to succeed. And guess what? It's nothing personal, right? And so you have to be sure that you are doing everything that you need to do to succeed, right? And so, yes, show up to work and work hard, but also at the same time, you need to be sure that you put you first, because that is just the way the whole corporate space works, right? They were built to make corporations successful, right? You can experience that success because your skill set solves a particular problem, right? But at the end of the day, they will always put their needs in wants first. And I just want you to think the same way, right? And so a lot of times when you give and you pour and you give and you pour and you find yourself fired or not there anymore, or even if you find yourself, like, man, I've been here 5 years and I have not been able to experience the success, right? You start to feel bitter, right? And the reason why you feel bitter is because you took this thing personal, right? Meaning, like, having that mindset with your spouse is one thing, like, babe, I'm doing this for you and I'm doing that and I'm doing this. I expect this thing as well. That's normal in a relationship like that, right? But when it comes to your career, or let me say this, when it comes to corporate, at the end of the day, they may like you, but they will always choose them first. And so you become bitter because you felt like I should mean something. No, this is business, right? When they hired you because your skill set solved a problem for them, right? And in return, they pay you for that. And so I'm not saying that you can't have friends at work. I'm not saying that, right? And I'm not saying that there can't be a level of commitment to what it is that you do. But what you do have to realize is that your loyalty cannot be more for them than it is for yourself. That's all I'm saying. So I really hope I was able to free a lot of you guys with all this. Oh, I know I want to do something better, but I can't leave my team. Or, oh, I know that I need to do something more, but they really need me. Yeah, they may need you, but you need you. Ooh, hold on. They may need you, but you need you. Your spouse, who you haven't spent time with months, he needs you. She needs you. But unfortunately, you are always serving at work. So yes, they may very well need you, but look at everybody else who also needs you. You need you, right? Thoughts on job hopping now. Oh, how frequent should that occur? Okay, let me say this. I am all for hopping away from things that don't serve you. Okay. If you are in a job right now where you are being disrespected, not being paid the money that you should be being paid, if you feel like, hey, this particular position is stunning my growth, friend, hop away. But I will say this. I am not for people hopping around to find out what it is that they want to do, right? Or just hopping to job, hoping something just lands right. I'm not. I am about you making a move to better yourself, but you being clear on what you want out of that next move and you having a strategy for it. So, you know what I'm saying? I kind of have mixed thoughts on it. I will say that people who do change jobs more often make more money, because when you change jobs, you that is the only time where you're able to increase the amount of money you make by thousands of dollars. You staying in your current position, you may get a 3% raise a year, if that. But when you make a move, you can easily get an extra 15, 30, $40,000 making a move, rather than just staying in the same spot. Now, I know that our parents taught us a lot with stay at this job and just stay here, and you want to retire. That advice no longer serves us. Okay, things in this life are too expensive, right? And a lot of these employers cannot keep up with the rate of pay and the rate of how everything else is, and that's just the reality of it. And so I'm all about, there are some places and some jobs that you'll have where you will just learn and earn and then you're done, right? And so I think it's just about you knowing what you want in that next role and being very clear about that, and not just hopping from job to job because you are unsure. So I have mixed feelings about that. Now, how often that should occur? I mean, that again, it just depends on you. Like if you're like Alicia, I am, 27 years old, and by 31, I desire to be at 175. Well, that's just about you sitting down, doing some math, seeing where your current skill set is, how long it could take you to gain the skills that you need. And so, again, it really depends on what is it that you want and the actual strategy you have. But I definitely think that you need to be strategic with your moves. And it's why a lot of times you see people that are 28, 29 years old, they're already making 100 and, 30K a year. And that's because if you look at their employment history, they are not afraid to move around. So if you want to, there's nothing wrong with you wanting more, right? So hop away, friend, but just make sure that it is done with strategy. Okay. All righty. Right. So let's hop on to our next and so just a very quick recap. The first mistake was clear. The mistake number 2 was not skills and acknowledge. Number 3 was not being able to build relationships. 4 was to make sure that you manage your work-life balance. And number 5 is not taking responsibility for your career or looking for feedback. Now, if you are sensitive, hop off right now. If you don't like tough love, friend, I will give you a warning. Okay. Hop off the live stream right now. Okay. So, again, if you don't want the truth, hop off now. Right. But if you want to hear some advice that is going to help you, please let me know. Okay. There is no way that you can become better if you don't hear about yourself. And a lot of you guys do not experience the success in your career that you desire is because you're too sensitive. Okay. Anytime anybody even wants to give you feedback, you shut down, you take it personal, right? And so, in order to see the success that you want, I need you to be open hearing about what it is that you are doing wrong, because we all love to hear the things that we are doing right, but what brings growth is hearing what is being done wrong. And so I want you guys to be more open with being able to receive feedback, right? Do you even ask for feedback at work? When was the last time you had a meeting with your boss or your lead or whoever and say, hey, what are some areas that I need to actually grow in? But a lot of people are afraid to have that talk, right? Because they feel like if I hear what's wrong with me, that means that I am no longer valuable. And it's the exact opposite. What makes you valuable is when you want to hone in on those weak areas and make them better. That is what makes you valuable, right? And also, I want you guys to start taking, I want you guys to be more self-aware, right? You know your ways, because a lot of times we are so quick to look at everybody else's mistake, right? Or we are so quick to make complaints about everybody else. But what is it like working with you, right? What are some ways that you are able to improve you? And that is only going to happen when you say, you know what? I got to stop playing this blame game and I have to start saying, what can I do better? Because at the end of the day, it is not your boss or, these folks at work, right? Nobody is holding you back except you. Even if you have a boss that maybe have some kind of thing with you, right? They don't like you. And guess what? It happens, right? Even in that, you are still in control because you still have a choice to say, hey, I will see if this thing can be resolved or I can move on. So even in the times when you feel powerless, you always have power. But what makes you feel like that is because you do nothing, right? And so you have to know that you getting a new job is not going to fix you. It's not, because you can't run from you. So the same issues that you may face at your current job or have in the past, you will face them in your new job because you can't run from you. And that's why it's important for you to start to look within and say, yeah, they are doing this and that. Hey, but what is it that I'm doing? What is it that I can do in order to grow? And sometimes what you do have to do is move on. Because it will be times in life that it doesn't matter how good you are, what you do, how good you excel, how many successes you bring forth. Somebody is not going to like you, and you have to get comfortable with that. And you cannot keep internalizing everybody's feelings about you. You can address how somebody may feel about you to see if that can be resolved, right? But you cannot keep absorbing all of that stuff because that is where you start to feel very insecure. That's where you start to doubt your expertise because it's no longer about, okay, what are the things that I may need to work on or the problems that I may need to address. But now it's okay, I have to be able to make everybody else around me feel comfortable. And that's not what it's about. Because again, you could do everything right and people will still have a problem with you. But when you're able to be self-aware and you're able to take charge, right, of you, you can sit back and say, hey, you know what, I've done everything that I can, right? And so at that time, it could be time for you to move on. But it's just important for you to sit back and to be able to evaluate what's really the problem, right? Because you could think, okay, the problem is, right, I don't get the respect that I think that I should at work. But the real problem is that you don't state your expectations. You have this silent need, right? Or this, oh, they should know. No, no. Nobody is a mind reader. And you can't put that on somebody that they should be able to read your mind at all times. And so is the problem that you don't get the respect that you should at work, or is the problem that you don't state the expectations and you don't state boundaries? Right? So when you start to not just think about what the problem is, but think about why is it a problem, that is when you will experience that growth. But if you just want to make excuses for whatever you are experiencing right now, you won't ever be successful because people that are successful don't have excuses. They may have problems, but they don't have excuses. And the thing about having a problem is that there is a solution to every problem, Whereas excuses just keep you in your comfort zone. They just keep you limited. But when you think about, hey, this is a problem, but hey, I am a problem solver, you are going to feel 10 times more empowered because you know what, I don't necessarily like what I'm in right now, but I have the power to change it. That's what it's about you being able to take charge. I was just I spoke with one of my clients last week, and she was saying, Alicia, I should have never taken this job. She said, I ignore all the red flags. I shouldn't have. And the comment was made, man, I just don't feel like I am in charge right now. Like, she said, I feel like I have let go of that control that I should have. And I said, well, I said, the fact that you are sitting here with me right now shows that you are in control, shows me that you are taking charge as you should. Because when you are in control of your career, it doesn't mean that there's not any problems that may happen. It doesn't mean that you may not pick a bad job. You could very well be in control and end up with a bad job. Because you, like Alicia, I went through the job interview process. I sat there, I asked them all the questions, because there's no way to fully know what a job is going to be like until you start, right? So you may end up in a bad role, but that does not mean that you are not in control. When you lose control is when you decide to stay. That is when that control is lost, when you feel like, well, it is what it is. You're right. You are no longer in control. But once you realize, hey, wait a minute, this position is not what I thought it was going to be. What do I need to do to move? You are still in control. So I don't want you guys to feel like, when I say that when I say that you need to be in control of your career, that means that everything just goes great. No, there will be problems. There will be seasons in your career that you are not performing the way that you know that you can, because things in life happen, right? But it doesn't mean that you are not in control. Control means that I am fully aware of what is happening right now, and I am going to take the action steps that I need to take to make sure that things are right. Right. So that is all that means. But again, that comes back. You got to be self-aware. When I became self-aware in my life, my whole life changed. I don't have excuses. I don't. Right. Does not mean that I don't have problems. It does not mean that I don't have times when I get discouraged, or I'm like, I don't know, or I deal with all the same emotions that you do, right? But excuses stop you from taking action. I'm not going to let anything stop me from taking action, right? Because I'm in control. And so, hey, feel your emotions, right? I do think that you need to acknowledge your emotions, but we don't make decisions based off our emotions, right? So let's do a quick recap. So the first pitfall that I want you guys to avoid is not having a clear plan. 2, not keeping your skills and knowledge up to date. 3, not building relationships, right? 4, not being able to manage your work-life balance. 5, not wanting to seek feedback and take responsibility for your career. And I'm going to throw in this last bonus one, right? Being too afraid to take risks. Okay. If you want a career that is going to be fulfilling, you have to be able to take a risk. When you get in your car every day, there's a risk that you could get into a car accident and die. And it don't matter if you drive a car, if you drive a cab, if you get on a train, but it doesn't matter. There's always a risk that if I get into this car, I could die, right? But you realize I have to get to work because I got to pay my bills. I got kids to feed, so I'm getting in this car. Some of us get in the car to drive to Target with no idea of what we want. Be like, I just need to just go to Target so I can look around, right? But you still take the risk of getting in your car. And that's how it is in your career, right? There are risks all around. Every time you decide to make a move, change a job, guess what? There is a risk involved. There is a risk, very well a risk involved that you could leave a job that you don't like and end up with a job that's worse. We know it. It's real, right? But the thing about it is, we don't not go after what we want because of the risk. We plan for the risk, right? We plan to minimize those risks. We plan to say, hey, if this happens, this is what I would do. Right. And so I don't want you guys to live a life of I'm afraid to have what I want because there is risk involved. There is risk in everything that you do. Everything. Right. If you have kids, it is a risk to have a child. Like, I don't think people realize the extreme I don't want to call it um destruction, but how much it breaks a woman's body down to bear a child and to give birth. Like, when you're a woman, you literally are at the brink of death sometimes giving birth. But the fact that you want that child, right? That fact will override all of the risk involved. And so think about this when it comes to your career, right? How much more should you be willing to take a risk for something that you spend 40 hours a week at? Right? How much more should you be willing to have a risk done when this is what allows you to have the life that you want? So I don't want you guys to have your mind focus on the risk. I want you to think about, what is the life that I want? And that has to be more than the risk, right? The goal has to be more than the fear. And at the end of the day, friend, you are worth the risk. You are worth the. Some of us dated guys that was trifling, okay? And we took all the risks with them. And they was trifling. They didn't deserve it, right? But now that it's time for you to do something for yourself, all of a sudden is, I don't know, I think, I don't know. No, right? Again, showing up for you, allowing yourself to feel okay with going after what you want, allowing yourself to feel okay with putting you first. And we cannot be so ready to take risks for everybody else. But when it's time to take risks for ourselves, it's all of this doubt. I don't know. I'm not sure. And so I don't want you going into 2023 just looking at the risk. Yes, I do think that the risk need to be acknowledged, right? Again, we plan for the risk. But I don't think the risk needs to be the number one focus. It needs to be, what do I want? It's time for me to have what I want, especially you guys who have been operating. And yes, friend, you are worth the risk, right? And it's especially a lot of you guys who have been in your career for a while. You've earned this. You've earned the right to be able to love your job. Now, I will say this: I do think that when you are first starting out, like you fresh in this thing, you may need to grind a little bit. You may need to compromise a little bit because you have no experience. Like, I'm not talking about experience of job. I'm talking about your overall work life. I'm talking about people that are like 21, 22, 23. I'm talking about those people. You may have to grind a little bit, right? Because you are gaining the experience. But once you reach a point in your life, in your career, where you have put in the work, where you have brought forth these successes, the receipts, you have been able to solve problems with the skills that you have. Why can't you finally be at a point where I don't have to just keep grinding and just taking what I can get, but I can finally move into a place where I can have what I want? Because you having what you can get and you having what you want is two different things. Two different things, right? The job you have now may have possibly been a job that you were able to get, but wasn't it the job that you really want? And so when you live a life of just, hey, it is what it is, just kind of accepting whatever, you find yourself not being fulfilled, right? And so I could go on and on. But I hope this live stream was definitely able to provide you some value, because I don't want 2023 just to be the same old thing, right? I want you guys to feel empowered, feeling sure, even if you're not quite sure on what change is different, because you got to say 2020 just ain't right? And so what I want you guys to do, excuse me, is just to sit back and reflect and think about not what the end goal looks like, but think about what is just the next step that you need to take, right? What is the next step that you need to take to move closer to what it is that you want? If you guys are wanting to make that next step, right? Be in a place to where you're able to be sure about what it is that you want. Having a actual action plan, knowing what are the steps that you need to take. I'm going to invite you. I have a thing that I'm doing right now where you're able to spend an hour and a half with me. I'll help you get clear on what you want. First, I'll help you to identify what is stopping you. Like, what is that wall that you hit? What is that? Where does that wall even come from? Right. And then I will help you to really get a really solid strategy plan for 2023 so we can get you to where you want to be. And so if you want to actually take advantage of that, you can go to IamAliciaPerkins.com/next moves. That is IamAliciaPerkins.com/next move. If you are on LinkedIn, you can go to my page and that link is on there. Or again, you can also go to IamAliciaPerkins.com/next move. I hate my job. I want and know I'm supposed to be doing something different. And you know what? You are not the only one who feels that way. A lot of people feel that way, right? But like I said before, excuse me, before, it's about you being able just to take the next step. Taking the next step and moving away what you don't want towards what it is. Oh, the audio, this is the audio doesn't work. Interesting. Okay. All right. He said, I am 50. Oh, yeah. But your age, that ain't nothing. And I say that because every time you decide to do what it is that you want, your mind is going to start to find all kind of excuses. Oh, I'm too old. No, I don't have enough experiences, right? But again, I don't want you guys to start to think that. When you look at people like Vera Wang, did not design her first wedding dress until she was like, what, 43, right? I think Samuel L. Jackson didn't even start in his first movie till he was like 47, right? So I don't want you guys to start thinking, oh, it's over for me. No, it's not over at all, right? And so I want you, again, taking that next step. If you need help with getting ready for that next step, I do encourage you to sign up with me and work with me at IamAliciaPerkins.com/next move, and let's get you a strategy plan mapped out, right? Because soon as you start to take action, you're going to automatically feel more confident, because now I'm not just sitting here with my excuses, but now I'm taking the action to get to where it is that I want to be. And so, again, if you guys want to work with me, you can go to IamAliciaPerkins.com/next move. I do go live every Tuesday. I'm thinking about adding in another day. I'm thinking about Tuesday and Thursdays, but I don't know, because y'all may get tired of me. I don't know. I don't know. I don't want to overload y'all. But for sure, I am planning on doing my lives on Tuesdays. I did have to do it on Wednesdays because of my schedule, but that is the plan. If you are not already, please make sure that you do subscribe to me on YouTube at I Am Alicia Perkins, because every live stream that I do, even if you're not here or not, it is saved. So if you want to be sure to stay in the loop with all of my live streams, make sure that you do go subscribe with me at IamAliciaPerkins.com. If you want to get exclusive content from me, make sure that you do join my email tribe. You can go to careert.me. That is careert.me. And as always, I enjoyed you guys. I hope you were able to get some insight and value from this. And I'll see you guys